break, we spoke to the Deputy Governor of Edo State, who has officially declared his intention to run for governor. All right, we're joined now in the studio for more by lawyer, Arise analyst Frank Tietie. Tolu, you take it from here.
Thank you for coming to this night, Barrister Tietie. I'm sure you saw that interview with Philip Shua, Deputy Governor of Edo State. It's been back and forth for a couple of months, for the past few months. But then we're beginning to see him standing up for what he believes is right. At what point do you think the cordial relationship between a governor and his deputy should be defined, and then the boundaries should be set clearly in this kind of situation?
What boundaries? Yeah. See, the deputy governor in Nigeria, I heard the respected Philip Shua saying, cautioning that there should be no generalization. Yes, that's a general rule. However, as a matter of history, deputy governors suffer a lot in the Nigerian political system, because naturally, every governor feels threatened by a deputy governor whose fortunes lie in his own misfortune. A deputy governor is referred to in colloquial terms in Nigeria.
Say that again.
Every governor is wary and afraid of every deputy governor, because the fortunes of the deputy governor lie in the misfortunes of the governor. So the governor, it's natural that the governor will be very careful of whoever the deputy governor is. And unfortunately, for most deputy governors, they are often misunderstood by their governors. And then to think about rumors and misactions and missteps by those deputy governors. So a governor, for example, or let's say a deputy governor, is perceived as someone who wishes something bad to happen to the governor. Because only when the governor resigns, or when the governor dies, or when the governor is impeached, that the dreams of the deputy governor can come to pass. So the deputy governor, the governor does everything possible to checkmate the deputy governor, even if it is no fault of his. Even if the deputy governor is a saint, he tries to protect himself against him.
Does it have anything to do with the way the deputy governor emerged? In most cases, as we've heard, it's not necessarily the governor or the principal himself who chooses his running mate. They are most of the time actually,
we've dealt with that issue before.
We have.
If a governor is allowed to actually pick somebody that he prefers, most governors prefer laid-back persons that will not constitute threats, not necessarily loyalty. Persons who are not so powerful that they have
absolute control.
Yes. So, but by the time this wrong calculation we have as we approach politics, where you say, look, the governor has to come from Edo South, and then you need to go to a more popular, senatorial zone to pick the deputy governor. That gives a sense of entitlement to the deputy governor, because he contributed greatly, directly, to the emergence of the governor. And only for the governor to begin to that natural inclination to think, to feel threatened by a political figure like, okay, let's take the Edo State example. Governor Obaseki has every reason to be threatened by Philip Shua. Look at Philip Shua, reeling out his very intimidating profile of having been a NANS president and then constantly grown in the political landscape, and then he became deputy governor. Which governor will not be afraid of that kind of he made his mistake. You cannot say he's a fighter. He made a mistake. We were here when we rooted for him, when he stood up to the governor, and then nudging him to say, look, don't see yourself as a spectator. Take another look at the constitution and the duties that it has been given to you. Unfortunately, state House of Assembly do not make laws that directly empower the deputy governor. There's nothing that prevents the State House of Assembly from making a particular law to say this economic program or the economic system in this state will be presided over by the deputy governor. The State House of Assembly don't do that. So they join in this spare tire issue of, that label that has been given to deputy governors. So let me tell you, all may not be well with Philip Shaibu. Because first, Governor Obaseki...
In terms of his ambition.
In terms of his ambition, right. Yes. Not necessarily
other
issues. Oh, no. All may not be well with Philip Shaibu with regards to his political ambition. I need to emphasize that. Because we have a very vindictive Godwin Obaseki as governor. He doesn't forgive very easily. You can't imagine... I mean... Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu came on international TV to beg sheepishly and to cry for forgiveness, and a number of his supporters across the country were angry, and then but actually one was thinking that he would have gotten a reprieve. But despite the comportment of Philip Shaibu tonight, in ability to mask his grievance against the governor, he couldn't hold it. With the tough questions coming from the panel, he couldn't just... he said it. The governor has not forgiven him.
Yeah, Frank, let's quickly come in here again. Some are also looking at the religious coloration of this whole episode. No governor in Edo State has ever been a Muslim. No deputy governor has ever been a Muslim in Edo State. What are his chances in this regard? How do you see him being able to manage this religious interest?
He comes from a Muslim-dominated part of Edo State, right? And for someone like me, I have stayed in Edo State for a very long time. Spent many of my years, schooling years in Edo State. Religion doesn't play much politics in Edo State. I must say that. And again, but again, also because of the predominant loyalty of the various tribes in Edo State to loyalty to the Oba of Benin, it's easy to also douse tribal sentiments in Edo State. However, there is something very important, the issue of zoning, or senatorial zoning that you brought up. You can't wish that away in Edo State. And all is not well. It's not just about trying to push Philip Shaibu away when you say, look, it's now time for Edo Central people to at least, produce governor. Because apart from Professor Ambrose Ali, you don't mention Osareme Osimbo, because he was very short-lived as governor, and his governorship time was actually taken over by Oshomole. So, apart from Professor Ambrose Ali, Edo Central, has not really had a shot at the governorship of Edo State. And when Obaseki is making that argument, however bad you think Obaseki is, he appears to be enjoying some form of validation with that kind of stance. That no, it's time to have some Isha people, or the people from the Gwebens and the rest of them who constitute Edo Central to produce a governor. But again, I
don't
think
forget,
that
Shaibu has a fractured party in the PDP. Is that likely to even affect his
It will definitely seriously affect him a very lot. And again, the issue of money. He has been deputy governor. Has he been able to command serious financial resources? In what way can he actually expect, good donations that will finance his election against a governor who has the power of incumbency, who controls the pulse of the state, who controls to a large extent persons that he has empowered the cost of giving them contracts, the cost of his governorship. So these are not good times for Philip Shaibu. However, unfortunately, the issue of senatorial zoning in Edo State is even falling down, because you now see the likes of Olumide Akpata, who also comes from the same senatorial zone with Governor Obaseki, trying to ride on the fantastic job he did as the MBA chairman, MBA president, and now wants to be the governor of Edo State. So Philip Shaibu is up against a big, task, trying to realize his dreams.
Like they say, Frank Tietie, before you begin to build a house, you must count the cost before you start the journey. Thank you so much for joining us. Cheers. Frank Tietie, a lawyer and a Rise News analyst.